Hello, Robert here. This is a bonus episode of Below the Title. Recently, Taylor and I made a video about The Hand of Death, which is a 1976 Hong Kong martial arts film directed by John Woo. Being that it's a 70s film, it had some funky music in it, and there was one bit in particular that caught my attention. I thought it would be a great sample to use to create some music. So that's what I've done in Ableton Live. I created all of the instruments out of audio from the film, except for a kick drum, open and close hi-hat, and a clap. I wanted to use just some regular, normal samples, just as a good base for the track to sit on. So I'll play the track for you now so you can hear it. On screen you'll see all of the bits of the film where the different instruments come from, and then afterwards I'll go through how some of those instruments were created.
I know it's an extremely dangerous mission, so you must always be on your guard.
What do you want? I want your help.
Alone is not enough. He's famous. He had a reputation, particularly with women. He turned up a couple of years ago with just a sword and his flute. He'd no name, so people called him Zara. Alone is not enough. His flute. He'd no name, so people called him Zara.
Thank you for your advice, and take care, mister.
So the first thing I did was take the shaker sample loop, and I found a bit that had a little bit of voice in it as well, because I thought that was interesting. And so it sounds like this. I chopped it up a little bit, took a few bits out just to add to the rhythm of it. I also found this additional little rhythm that was part of this clip. Sped up to about double speed, it sounds like this. On top of that, I found this clip. A lot of the fight sound effects sound a bit like a clap. And then moving down off the rhythm, we've got the bass line. Now the bass line was created from this clip. I put the sample into Ableton's simpler sampling device. I zoomed right into just the start bit, changed the attack, decay, sustain and release to make it into an instrument, filtered it a little bit, put a few effects on it, and that turns into a bass line. And if I zoom out a little bit. So moving down to the melody, this is the sample I used. Again, same thing as the bass instrument. When you zoom in enough, loop it, filter it, change the attack, decay, sustain and release. A bit of echo, a few effects on there. Next track down, we have this time a slightly different sample that came from here. Exactly the same thing. When you zoom in enough, this one went right into almost just one cycle. Effects, delay, the Reason rack. One of my favourite effects in Reason is the alligator gate. The alligator gate gives it a bit of a rhythm. And then we come down into some pads. This first one, I found a bit of the flute playing. Filter it, LFO, effects. Reason rack plugin with the alligator gate to add a rhythm. The next one down, same sample as I had up in this melody. Lots of effects, Valhalla, supermassive Valhalla shimmer. Got the Reason alligator filter again just to give it some rhythm, some filtering. This next one here is actually a bit of the VHS noise from the end of the film. Sounds pretty horrible, but I filtered it. And before that, I've added in another effect from Reason that adds a rhythm to it. So then coming down to some of the little fill sound effects. Put some reverbs, once again, the alligator gate. Next one down here was actually this sample slowed down. Then there's the bit in the middle of the track, which was basically a bit from the fight scene. I've just automated the length of the sample. Finally, we have a few vocal samples.
I know it's an extremely dangerous mission, so you must always be on your guard.
There's a couple of little samples throughout it. The only thing I'm using that's not from the film, just to give it a good foundation, are some proper samples of a kick drum, open and closed hi-hat, and a clap. And that's, once again, in the Reason Rack plugin, I'm using the Beatmap player.
So that was a track created using audio sampled from The Hand of Death. It didn't really have any reason to be done other than it just seemed like something fun to do.
Thank you for your advice, and take care, mister.